जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन जय गजर जनरंजन यशोदानंदन जय व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनाचारी जय कुंज बिहारी यमुना तीरावनाचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा सुदर्शन जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा माही सुदर्शना जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा माही सुदर्शना जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पतगामी भवतु जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पतगामी भवतु जय राधा माधव राधा माधव श्री राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधा माधव श्री राधे जय राधा मदन राधा मदन राधा मदन श्री राधे जय राधा मदन राधा मदन राधा मदन मोहन श्री राधे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर श्री राधे जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर श्री राधे जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र श्री राधे जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र श्री राधे जय गौरान्विता 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 जय गौरान्विता जय गौरान्विता 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 जय गौरान्विता 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 जय गौरान्विता जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। All devotees, welcome on this Zoom platform, Srimad Bhagavatam class of ISKCON Seshadripuram, Bangalore. So today we will be discussing 9th shloka of 17th chapter of 4th canto. So Prithu Maharaj story continues, and we'll discuss more. We'll recite the shloka going further. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jaya Mudire Nashtaprayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Thapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakamyam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavansya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhavitam Sya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Give me 2 minutes. There's some reflection. I'll just. Hare Krishna. So I'm just project shloka. We'll recite the shloka shortly. 2 minutes. Ninth shloka, 17th chapter, fourth canto. यदा विषिक्तः पुतुरंग विप्रे रामन्तिनो जनतायश्च पालः प्रजानिरन्त क्षितिपृष्ठ यत्यां क्षित्वा मदेहा पतिमभ्यमोचन. What were translation by Srila Prabhupada? Maitreya Uvacha, the great Maitreya sage said, Yadaha, when Abhishikta was enthroned, Prutuhu, King Prutu, Anga, my dear Vidura, we pray by the Brahmana, Amantritaha was declared, Janatayaha of the people, Cha also, Pala, protector, Praja, citizen, Niranne, being without food grains, Kshiti Prishte, the surface of the room, it, it, Etya, coming near, Khyut, by hunger, Kshama, skinny, Shamo, skinny, Deha, their bodies, Patim, to the protector, Abhyavocham, they said. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, at the time King Putho was enthroned by the great sages and Brahmanas and declared to be the protector of the citizens, there was a scarcity of the food grains. The citizens actually became skinny due to starvation. Therefore, they came before king and informed him of their real situation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Information is given herein concerning the selection of the king by Brahmanas. According to Varnasrama system, the Brahmanas are considered to be the head of the society and therefore to be situated in the topmost social position. The Varnasrama Dharma, the institution of 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas, is very scientifically designed. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Varnasrama Dharma is not a man-made institution, but is God-made. In this narration, it is clearly indicated that the Brahmanas used to control the royal power. When an evil king like Vena ruled, the Brahmanas would kill him through their Brahminical powers and would select a proper ruler by testing his qualification. In other words, the Brahmanas, the intelligent men or the great sages, would control the monarchical powers. Here we have an indication of how Brahmanas elected King Prithu to the throne as a protector of the citizens. The citizens, being skinny due to hunger, approached the king and informed him that necessary action should be taken. The structure of the Varnasrama was so nice that Brahmanas would guide the head of the state. The head of the state would then give the protection to the citizens. The Kshatriyas would take charge of protecting the people in general, and under the protection of the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas would protect the cows, produce food grains, and distribute them. Shudras, the working class, would help the higher three classes by manual labor. This is the perfect social system. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, this is very important sloka in the sense Prabhupada uh, brings the Varnasrama system context here. And it is a Putumara story going on. So, let's discuss this. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते जय पताका स्वामी निति नामने नमो आचार्य पदाय निताय कृपा प्रदायिने गौरकथामदाय नगर ग्राम तारिणे नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेषण्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। मैत्रेय उवाच यदाभिषिक्तः पुत्रंग विप्रे रामन्तिनो जनतायाश्च पालः प्रजानिरन्तक्षितिपृष्ठ एतत् श्रुत्वात्मदेहा पतिमभ्य ओचन। हरे कृष्ण। So the great sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, at the time King Prithu was enthroned by the great sages and the Brahmanas and declared to be the protector of the citizens, there was the scarcity of the food grains. The citizens actually become skinny due to starvation. Therefore, they came before the king and informed him on their real situation. Okay, so not many devotees today, but anyway, we'll continue. Hare Krishna. So, Varnasam. So King Prithu's story is clear. We have been discussing. He was Shaktavesh avatar of the Lord Krishna. Um, Shaktavesh means empowered, like uh, some soul will have empowerment from the Lord, and he can do the wonderful activities almost like compared to the as the Lord does in his normal avatar. That's Shaktavesh avatar. So King Prithu was actually derived, or I will say, King Prithu came out, Brahmanas churned out the bodily limbs of his father, King Vena, who was like a demonic king. They churned out the King Prithu from his body. King Prithu's body was churned out from the Vena's body, his father's body, who was killed. King Vena was killed by the Brahmanas and powerful sages that time. Why he was killed? Because he was evil, he was a demon, and he was not allowing the Vedic culture to flourish. So obviously, at least in that yuga, earlier yuga, there was a complete control of Brahmanas on the society. Now, when I say Brahmanas, real quality Brahmanas, the head of the Brahman, like head of the society. Brahmanas were so powerful, they were so expert in Vedic knowledge, so expert in understanding what is right, wrong, analyzing what is right, wrong, Vedic principles. So human society, for to sustain the human civilization society, Lord himself has given the Vedas. And the Vedas are, I mean, rather, it's based on Varnashram system, Varnashram Dharma system. Why it is given Varnashram system as well as Varnashram system is a social order, means to run the society or nations smoothly, human civilization runs smoothly, there has to be social structure. So for any organization, if organization has to run, there has to be structure. There are, say, management. Management means they are like intellectuals, policymakers, or strategists, or heads, functional heads, or the people who knows how to drive the things, how to They understand the science behind everything. So they are like intellectual. They should be, I mean, I'm giving the analogy of varnashrama system and the typical organization, because now also we follow varnashram system indirectly without giving credit to varnashram system. We follow this in organization, but we say no, no, we don't want to believe into Vedas and varnashram system is not there. It's not working. But we follow knowingly, unknowingly the same system in our any organization, be it some company, be it some business, or be it some social, organization or whatever it is. What we do there are the intellectual people guides the society. So there has to be guides. So, and it is also Varnashrama system is compared to our bodily parts of. Lord Krishna himself compares that in Bhagavad Gita. The Brahmanas are like a head. Head means what? Brain. So this part of the body, brain, controls the all the functions of the all the limbs of the body. How it controls? By like by brain. So it controls. So it has got control on every function of the body. And it restricts some unnecessary thing. It gives the direction. Just to put it in simple word, it gives the direction. So body runs smoothly. If there is some abnormality in the body, the brain will sense, oh, there is some issue, and it will further direct. So we'll take some action. Oh, there is some problem. So this is a way our head control, brain control the body. Hands are there who are actually working. We say no, we want pair of hand working hands. So body's whole maintenance is based on the hand. We go write something, we go work hard something, work in the field, work in the labor, work in the factories, write. And by hand, we type in the computer. So we use hands. So it's like, because without hand, we'll not be able to earn anything. So that's the maintenance of the body. So it protects the body. If there is some fighting, hand will be the first thing which will be using it to protect ourselves. So it's the protection of the body. That is hand. Clear. And we say no, army. So we always say indicate like this. So it means that we are protecting. It is administrating. We administer, control our body in the sense physical movements of the body and protection of the body, which is very important. Which is very important. We control this by hand. So Kshatriyas are compared to this hand. Why? How? Like, because Kshatriyas are the group of people in the society who are very powerful, mighty, very strict, disciplined, and Shaivalavas. Shaivalavas. They are good in fighting. They are good in politics. They are good in controlling the whole show. They have got that valor and they have got that rigor. They have got that strong body to do that, because in the society there will be always some mischievous elements, criminal elements. The material world is made like this. Material world is like this. It's not, material world is not supposed to be always good. Material world, Lord Krishna says, this is made to have evil. This world is made to have bad elements, good elements, and it's all mix of it, and you have to live there. Because that's our choice. We chose it. So there will be always destruction happening in the material world, and there is a construction also happening. So if there is destructive elements are more powerful, they'll destroy the whole thing, and material world will be destroyed. Whole civilization will get destroyed. It has happened. Every civilization in centuries and centuries, if you see the history and Puranas, there is a destruction, there is a construction. There is a destruction, there is a maintenance, there is a protection. How? Because depending on who controls the society. Now, so You see in so many battles, so many wars, so many things are there. Always there is. You see the whole history is full of battles. Why? Because there is a constant struggle between good element and bad element. That's a simple thing. Some people are on good side, some people are on the bad side. Good means who are actually the followers of the Lord. Good means who respect this Lord's creation, who want to protect, maintain this Lord's creation, who gives God his credit that, oh, you are the Lord, you are the creator. There will be some people who are demons. They don't like God. They don't like give credit to God. They say there is no God or whatever it may be. And they keep exploiting. So this type of people will be exploiters. So simple definition. Good means who believes in God. Bad means who doesn't believe in God. Simple. Prabhupada has given this definition. There is no other definition. There may be some people who may be so-called good, oh, they are good in their behavior, they are helping others, but if they don't believe in God, ultimately they are bad because they are going to show their color some point of time. And there are people who are believers of God, like us, devotees of the Lord. They are always abide by the Lord's rule. And there may be some shortcoming, there may be some problems with devotees also. Because we are not perfect. Still, we are good people. Devotees are good people because ultimately they are giving due credit to God and they want to learn to go by the Lord's order. They want to serve the Lord. They want to follow the instructions of the Lord. Even though there are some bad things come in devotees also, it will slowly go away. But we should try to reduce as far as possible all those things. But this is a simple definition by Srila Prabhupada, good and bad. Okay. Now, then there are people in the society. So if we have to compare society, I'm talking about Varnashrama system. Brahmana, Kshatriya, they are like head and arms. I explained the duties of them. Then there will be people who has to feed the whole society on their grains, fruits and vegetables and all maintenance, milk. Who will do all this? Business. They are all essential for society sustenance. Farming, business. So they are like Vaishyas. So they were like Vaishyas. So they will be people who will be farmers, agriculture based, land, cows, milk, and related business based on the farming. So in original Varnashrama Dharma, there are nothing like separate chemical industry or separate big businesses. They are all based on agriculture based business and they're allied small businesses. And it was more sustainable. Why? Because ultimately the raw material for sustainable is from the farming. And farming is always sustainable if you do it properly and if you don't exploit the nature. So there will be rain, there will be grain, then there will be waste from these grains. They will go as a fertilizer, milk, milk products, cow, whatever. And it's if you see as a scientist also, if you see as a ecological cycle is so perfect. There was no destruction of the material nature, destruction of the property, destruction of the nature. There is no destruction. It was well. Now also we are following it to some extent. But otherwise, in the modern civilization, we are started exploiting the nature. Very extreme. Nature will give us everything. No doubt about it. It will give us the pearls, diamonds, gold, silver. It will give us the grains, milk, sugar, dals, lentils, whatever. It will give us water. It will give us all cloths, cotton, what not it will give. It's giving us now also. And anyway, ultimately we are dependent on nature. Even though we are talking about chemical industry, but ultimately it depends on nature. How you can understand it. Power is coming from the water resources. From where water resource? From the rain. Okay. Diesel is coming from the natural source only. Now, chemicals, we are producing so many chemicals. Ultimately, it boils down to somewhere to the natural source. Somewhere nature is providing us. But it's our choice if we go against the nature, because if you see the design of the material nature, it's so delicate, so perfect. It should be sustainable. It's always sustainable. It never happens that tree gives you fruits, tree gives you some wood, tree gives you seed also, and that seed will give further trees. That will give further trees. And it will give you leaves and fruits also, and little bit wood also. But if you start cutting the trees, fruits are gone, seeds are gone, trees are gone, and we are there. We are there to suffer, and that's what is happening. So in the modern civilization, we are trying to put up the businesses, trying to put our lifestyle in such a way it's too much dependent on chemicals or too much dependent on this artificially derived thing. Ultimately, they are derived from natural thing, but ultimately at a very advanced stage, they are artificial. We don't need that. Or if we need it in a very limited way, so let's restrict that. We need medicine. We need, of course, we need medicine. We need chemicals, but they has to be derived. The manufacturing and the manufacturing has to be in a very nature-friendly way. That's why sustainable living is coming. Nowadays, they talk about sustainability, sustainability. Sustainability is a very common sense. Sustainability is not a big science. Sustainability is a common sense. Anything you do has to be sustainable. So how you when it will be sustainable? When you are recycling it, when you are taking care of the nature, it will come. So now everybody want to live in harmony with nature. So Prabhupada writes in his commentaries many places. So big people, they are putting so much chemical industry, so many things, and the polluting the nature, and everybody want to go and stay in the nature on some hill and then resort, because we want to stay in nature, but let others suffer. So this is the bad civilization. But anyway, it's a modern way of living. We need all those. We need chemicals. We need medicine. We need other allied. But the way we manufacture has to be very sustainable, recyclable. It should not come at the cost of nature heavily. So otherwise, nature is going to give us everything what we want. And that's what old civilization, especially the Vedic civilization, was based on this. So Varnashrama system is also part of it. So what we are discussing was basically business and agriculture. Everything is there, and they are based on the sustainable living. So one side nature, second side the people. So people mentality. Everybody will have different type of mentality. So there will be some people who are intellectual, they are artistic, they are scientist oriented, they are interested in spirituality or general philosophies. They are good in nature, sattvic people. So they are like Brahmanas. There will be people who are powerful. They want to play politics for good. They want to protect the people. They want to have war. They are very strong people. They are Kshatriyas. So they will be given charge of protecting the people. And they will protect the Brahmanas also. They will protect the lower orders of the people, like Shudras, and Vaishyas. So they are Kshatriyas. They will protect them. But they were well versed with spirituality. They were well versed with Vedic knowledge. They were well versed with all those Vedic knowledge. So that is, it's not that just because somebody is very strong and some want to have fighting, he is Kshatriya. No, Kshatriya means here actually they know the Vedic principles. Yeah, their background is spiritual, and then they will, under the guidance of Brahmanical order, they will protect the king. So that's Prabhupada right in this sloka also, in the purport also. So, and Shudras are the people who may not have much intelligence in doing all this, but they can support, they can do the labor, they can support all this. So they are children. So body also have what legs. So it's not that legs is less important. Leg is equally important. In terms of functionality, everything is important. But there is some bodily part is more important than other body part. But everything is important in absolute sense. So that is the way society is designed. And it's always based on the quality of the people. So if somebody is having sattva guna, very intellectual, they will be promoted as a brahmana. If somebody doesn't have this, they have got very power attitude, they'll be kshatriya. And some people have got business mentality. They are good in business. They are good in cultivating the grain, food grains, and all that. They will be Kshatriya. And then people may be like to just do the labor. They'll be like, so this is based on the quality, not based on the birth or something. It's not that Brahman's son will be always or daughter will be always Brahmin. They have to prove that they have got that quality, and then they will be similarly for every category. Kshatriya, you have to prove that you are a powerful king, then only you will be treated as Kshatriya. If you have what qualities of Shudra, you will be put as a Kshutra. So there is nothing, it has nothing to do with the casteism or caste system, which in the modern days people are saying, oh, Sanatan Dharma, Varna Dharma means caste. I mean, this is not correct. Caste system has nothing to do with Varnasrama. Caste system is different. That is a degraded form of the Sanatana. So caste means, what is a caste system? They say, oh, somebody is this caste. His son also or daughter also in the same caste. That's what we treat ourselves. We are in this caste because I took birth from the some caste. And they will continue and they'll stamp them as a caste like that. But that is very unscientific. The caste, there is nothing like caste in Varnasrama. It is Varna. Varna means this particular person has got this particular mindset and intellectual capabilities, he will be in that Varna. If he doesn't display that particular Varna category, he will be into the other category where he displays that. And like that, it has nothing to do with caste, but it has got degraded into caste. And we ourselves degraded that. Okay, and then people misuse. Now also there is a lot of politics goes on all this. But it is not a Varnasrama. Our Vedic system is beautiful. Sanatana Dharma is very beautiful, which promotes this Varnasrama. We follow this Varnasrama in our day-to-day organization bodies also, in social structure also. That's what we were comparing. Like in organization also, we're comparing. There will be intellectuals, policymakers, and there will be people who are actually administrating the whole thing. There will be people who will be actually doing the business and all that. There will be some laborers also. So we follow this Varnasrama system in a conveniently in all the form of social bodies or in the group. But we don't want to admit that Varnasrama was scientific in the modern civilization. That's the unfortunate thing. But Prabhupada brings the point here in this context, Rutu Maharaj context, where Prabhupada right, it was scientifically designed. Varnasrama system is scientifically designed. Because what is the context here? The citizens in the time of Prithu Maharaj, when Prithu Maharaj took over as the king of the earth, citizens were not very happy. Not that because Prithu Maharaj took over, the situation that time was so unhappy, so distressful, due to the past kings. Past king was a past king, Prithu Maharaj, father, King Vena, who was demonic king, and he shattered the whole Vedic civilization, and the moment Vedic civilization gets affected, the whole quality of life is going to be poor. Why? Because we have to follow Vedic system is Vedic knowledge is meant for improving our life, taking us to the original civilization. Okay, so when Prithu Maharaj took over, this was the problem because Mother Earth was not producing enough grains and milk and the fruits, vegetables. Why? Because she was afraid or she was not happy with the conduct of the overall citizens as well as the conduct of the so-called kings at that point of time, before Prithu Maharaj took over. So she stopped giving the food grains. And she stopped producing the all natural resources. And obviously, when Mother Nature is not giving us the enough ingredients or paraphernalia, we are going to suffer. And that's what is that's happening now also. In the modern civilization, it happens. Why? Because we are not really in harmony with nature. We are trying to artificially exploit the Mother Earth in very indiscriminately. we are entitled for using the resources of material nature. That's the Lord has given us that. Lord is the creator of those material universe, material nature. So he has very mercifully given us everything. But we have to utilize in a very judiciously, in a very systematic, in a very controlled way. And with the, and first of all, how this will happen? Because our mind is always exploitative. Mind is, our mind like to exploit the things. That's why we are here. Why we are in material world? Because our mind, we are exploit. We have got exploitation tendencies. That's why we are here. Due to false ego, the whole problem with us is we want to exploit each and everything, whatever it comes in our way. Okay, that's why we are in material world. Now it's like a training to us that Lord has given us even all the material resources, but we have to stop exploiting. We have to actually live in harmony. Use whatever we want in a very natural way to sustain your body and our society. That much is enough. And spend maximum time in developing the spiritual knowledge, developing the devotion. Means reduce our material activities beyond some limit. Beyond some, you should not get into it, and then utilize the time for spiritual knowledge. So that is the whole design. In that process, our false ego or exploitation tendencies will be reduced or minimized or made it zero. That's the whole purpose. But that's not happening now. Of course, devotees knows this, and devotees implementing in his life to whatever possible extent. But in general, this is the situation, and that is, it's not new. Now, currently, our this civilization is there. This sort of problems. So it's not new. First time, this has been happening in history over periodically. There's always a cycle of always cycle of nature. So Pruthumara's time, if you recall now, before when Pruthumara's took over, before that, this is the same thing happening. Like people were exploiting, they were not following Vedic culture, and then Earth stopped giving. Now also Earth has stopped giving, or it has reduced. Grains are shortage, milk is shortage. We don't get pure grains. We don't get pure natural resources. No pure water, no pure air. All polluted. So we can correlate this very easily. It's not something very impractical. We can correlate. This is going to happen depending on how we stay, how we live in harmony with Mother Earth. Ultimately, Mother Earth or material nature is ultimately Lord Krishna's property. So, in short, what we are saying is we should always surrender to Lord and give credit to Lord that He is giving us so much mercifully, even though we don't deserve it. So, if we accept Lord's supremacy, Lord's authority as a creator, and become His devotee and spend our time in becoming devotee and propagating Lord's message, that is the simple way to stay in harmony with nature. It doesn't need very separate. There need not be so much, talk about sustainable living, and it comes naturally in Vedic civilization. Just follow the Varnashram system. People, because it's all about people who are going to drive the society. If people are all demonic, then society will be killed. I mean, society will be destroyed. If people, there are Brahmins, Brahmanas, learned people, Sattvic Guna people, they are going to guide the society well. And there will be people who will be protecting the society, because now that's these two class of Brahmin Kshatriyas are very few. And that's why there's a chaos in the society. Most of them are either Shudra or Vaishyas or below that. Prabhupada writes that we are a majority of Shudras. Why? Because, this Vedic civilization is reducing, its influence is reducing now. So then that's why there is so much chaos, because there is nobody to teach what is the spiritual science, what is the Vedic science, what is devotion, who is Lord, who are we. Nobody tells us. I mean, of course, there are, of course, ISKCON is there. Prabhupada has given us everything. I'm saying by design, people are not putting it in the. There is no syllabus which teaches Bhagavad Gita, even in India. So now slowly people have started realizing, but that's the thing. So there is no design of society. There is no design of how. So that's why there is a chaos. The moment we go to design, who has designed is Lord Krishna has given. Lord has given. Where he says that in Bhagavad Gita, I said, Varnashrama is coming from me. So Prabhupada writes, that's the Prabhupada writes here. Varnashrama system is scientifically designed. Science, how it is scientifically designed, we discussed that. It's very common sense based. we doesn't need very extra brain to understand what is varnashrama. It is very simple, and the irony is we follow that in our day-to-day organization or in our so-called societal bodies, groups, or some institutes. We follow that. We want some intellectual people driving the whole thing. We want intellectual people. So when they recruit the CEO of the company or the top manager of the company, they want all qualification. He should be like this. They have 100 interviews and he should fulfill all criteria. Everything should be good. We want, and then we want somebody administrator. So they want relevant experienced people like that. So we want to follow this, but we are conveniently not trying to conveniently doesn't accept that being followed in social. We don't want to take it as a design basis of our social design. That's because that's majority people are demonic nowadays. So they don't want to give credit to Vedic civilization, and then there's a problem there. Anyway, that's not a topic here. The context here is Prabhupada brings the context of Varnashrama system in Pruthumara's story here is why? Because king was supposed to, king means Kshatriya. King was supposed to take knowledge from the Brahmins, Vedic experts, Rishis, Munis. And he is supposed to equip himself with knowledge, develop his character, good character, of course, and develop the rigor and vigor to protect the society, and if required, fight at that moment. And the whole basis is protect the citizen, protect the Vedic civilization, protect the citizen, protect the paraphernalia, protect the material nature. All that will be Kshatriya's job. And because King Vena was demonic king, the whole Varnashrama got destroyed, and earth stopped giving the food grains. So citizens were suffering. Why? Because there were no food grain. They were skinny, literally. Is mentioned in this shloka. They were skinny. So they went to King Prutu, who had just taken over from them, from the earlier predecessors king. And citizens wanted to ask him how we are going to handle this, how we are going to protect her, how we are going to solve this problem. So king is answerable to citizens. They are answerable to citizens. So responsible king means they are answerable, they are accountable for the citizens. So citizens' welfare has to be addressed by the Kshatriyas. So of course, it's both way around. If citizens are also demonic, the kings also will be demonic. If citizens are good, king also will be good. It's both way around that way. But the prime duty of the Kshatriyas, king, is to protect and address this problem. So in this context, so the whole citizens went to King Prutu and told, you tell us how to do it. We are not getting sufficient food. You do something about it. So Prabhupada, that's why I bring the point here, saying that citizens were at least to some extent knowing whom to go for which problem. And they were not, the citizens were not really that much, I mean, they were innocent, relatively they were innocent that time. And it was the King Vena who was sort of autocratic and who inflicted those miseries on them. So, but then when King Prutu came, knowing that King Prutu is a very saintly king, Rajarshi like king, then they went to him asking his help. So rightly they were asking him, and it was King Prutu's duty to do that, and King Prutu did it. He then chastised Mother Earth, who took the form of form of the cow in the fear of king. But then he chastised the Mother Earth and told her to you produce sufficient food grains and everything. So Mother Earth ultimately said, yes, I will give because I am meant for giving. It's my duty. But citizens and the whole the civilization has to be based on the Vedic principles. There should not be demonic people, otherwise they will create problem to me. And that's what she was referring. She referred, saying that King Vena was so demonic that he exploited everything. So I became unhappy and I stopped giving. So his Prutu Maharaj assured her, no, it will be re-established, kingdom will be re-established, and Vedic civilization will be established, and then later on it was all normally. So that's the whole story. So the Prabhupada brings that context here, saying that the Varnashrama system, if it is destroyed, there will be chaos. So society cannot be happy without Varnashrama system. Now, in the current modern day, how practical it is practical. Only thing is up to us how much we want to adopt it. So we should not think about how much practical it is or not practical, because we know that it is not going to be easy, or it's practically not very easy to re-establish the Varnashrama system. That we know. But still Prabhupada wanted Varnashrama in whatever way form it is. And that's why ISKCON is actually trying to bring this Varnashrama in a way whatever possible in the context. At least principles are very clear. Brahmins. So Prabhupada has written in his purport, we are trying, our society is mainly to produce Brahmins, create Brahminical order. And that's why ISKCON and Prabhupada's, by Prabhupada's mercy and his disciples we are being trained to become Brahmanas. So when there will be Brahmanas, because the Brahmanas, number of Brahmanas are practically nil in the current society, by quality Brahmanas, I'm saying. That's why there is a chaos. So if Brahmanas are more, naturally people will try to follow the Vedic civilization, hoping so. Ultimately, it's a Lord's wish. We should not worry about impracticality of it. We should start helping getting Varnashrama system, because Prabhupada wanted it in whatever form way is possible. And Prabhupada gave it a very, in a modern context, he gave it a perfect formula. That's why we follow the devotee life. Follow the devotee life individually in your life. That's the first thing. And try to preach, try to give this knowledge to others, and rest ultimately Lord's desire. So that is why we should find ourselves in context of Varnashrama. We should not say that it's not practical. That is not our problem. Let's Lord will take care. We should try to follow what Prabhupada has given, Acharya has given, because Acharya has given what Lord, Acharya knows what Lord want, what Bhagavad Gita want. And they have in that, according to time, place, and circumstance, they have given that formula also. Prabhupada has given us. We are in this one, so we should try to follow whatever we can, based on the footsteps of Prabhupada, and we should continue that. But at least we should understand what is Varnashrama, what is, and how it can be applied in the current context. Things will fall into place. We don't know. It's a Kali Yuga. Things are bound to get deteriorated. But again, that's not our headache, because we are in devotee community. We should try to cultivate whatever we can do in our life. We should try to influence others' life also in a very positive way. Try to bring them to devotional life, and rest we'll see. So that is a way. So very nicely, Prabhupada has conveyed that how important is a Varnashrama, and he said it's scientific, it is not unscientific. And how scientific it is also, he has explained it in many of the purports, and we are also trying to understand. And going further, story continues as we go further, and how it was restored. So this is the this is the Prabhupada purport says today, and we are trying to understand. So that's all from my side for today's discussions. So I think we'll get into question and answer, but meanwhile, I can see His Grace Uttam Damodar Prabhuji has joined, and so he can grace us with a little bit more further his perspective and his inputs on this, and then we can get into question and answer. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the wonderful explanation. I think the point that we were trying to drive today, and you very nicely put it across, it Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. If the king is good, then the Praja will be good. And if the Praja is good, the Raja will be good. And these days, it's only Vaishyas and Shudras who are there. There's no Brahmana and Kshatriya to lead us. And if there are no Brahmanas, then the society will be in chaos, which we are already actually seeing it happening. But Srila Prabhupada with his mercy, and Acharyas with their mercy, they've given us so many Vaishnavas and Brahmanas who can rightly guide us in the direction. But I think charity begins at home. We have to first follow it ourselves, then ask others to follow it as well, and distribute this holy name as far as possible, so people can take up to Krishna consciousness nicely and very closely to their hearts. So thank you very much for the explanation. That's it from my side, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Prabhuji, for very aptly summarizing it. Thanks, Prabhuji. So any questions, comments from the devotees? We'll wait for some. We'll have the discussion on that, and then we'll close the session after question and answer. Hare Krishna. Okay, so if there are no question comments, then we'll close the session for today. And thanks all of you for joining the session from your busy schedule in the early morning. And we'll continue visiting this platform every day and enjoy the Srimad Bhagavatam and get a mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Lord. So Hare Krishna, thanks once again, and we'll close the session. Mantra
Hare
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We are leaving now. Hare Krishna. We have to